Planting a seed is the first step in growing something special. On a ranch outside Dayton, Ohio, Pastor Donovan Larkins is sowing seeds of hope.
Hard work is good for everybody. And if you're going to earn anything in life, you need to earn it by hard work. I'm Pastor Larkins. I'm a man of my word. If I say something, I'll do it. I want you to be a woman or a man of your word. If you say something, I want you to do it. Starting with being at work on time. You're here to learn and to work. Okay? You may learn from one another, but you're definitely going to learn from us. When we first started Shekinah Ranch, we began to, in our city, have a lot of youth getting involved with drugs and drug deals gone bad. And we said we had to do something about it.
Shekinah means the glory of God. In Hebrew, that's what Shekinah means. And so we chose that name because we want every child that comes out here to have an experience with God's creation.
The first year, we started having camps, and we decided that we would give it 5 years to see whether or not this was something that would take hold in our city. And it did in the second year. And we knew we had something, and so it merited development. Shekinah Ranch has been in existence for 12 years and growing.
Most of the kids are from urban areas. Brandon, give me a scoop of grain. And they range from the ages of 5 years old to 18-year-old.
Normally when they first come, they hate the ranch. They hate the bugs. They hate the smells.
It was kind of nasty, and it was fun at the same time. I couldn't wait to see all the different animals here.
One of the first reactions was, I don't want to get dirty.
So there's lots of animals, and I love animals, and it's all messy. But my grandmother thinks it's horrible and nasty, but I love it.
Unfortunately, urban youth are not exposed to agricultural practices. They do not know where their food comes from. So we wanted to teach our youth how to produce food. Aquaculture is actually the process of raising fish. Providing nutritious food is our priority. We chose tilapia because of how popular it is. We try to create good business plans here. Even though we're a nonprofit, we want to have good business practices so that we can survive for the future.
The majority of the kids, when they first come, they've never been around a large animal. They say, that horse is so big, Miss Lisa. I don't want to do anything around that horse. But after they're around them the first couple of days, one of the things we do to help them get used to being around the animals is feed them.
Every morning they have Bible study, and every morning they feed the animals, and we're teaching them responsibility at that point.
It's like bread. If you cut the string off, it falls apart into slices, and each slice we call a flick. The responsibility of taking care of a horse is like a responsibility of taking care of a family member. The parents feed the children every day. They don't miss a day. They make sure they get something to eat. Jessica or myself will handle the door. You never ever open up the stall door. If the horse's rear end is facing you, do not open up the door. So we teach the children it's their responsibility to make sure the horses eat. If it's raining, we feed the horses. You know, if it's raining hard, we still feed. If it's really, really hot that day, we still feed the horses because they're responsible for the nutrition. All right, these are scoops. They are 3-pound scoops, meaning that holds up to 3 pounds of horse grain. Anybody know what a quarter of a scoop is? How much is a quarter? A quarter of a scoop is half of a half, which would be half, look, Ronald, half of the half. That's a quarter of a scoop, okay? And so that's one of the things that we like to make sure they understand and realize, that once they become an adult and they have responsibility of a family, You don't get to sleep in because you're sleepy or you're tired. You still have to get up and go to work and be a provider. And the reason why we brush the horse before we ride is to get off all the dirt and the dust and the debris so we can put the saddle on. Because if you put a saddle on the horse and the horse has dust or maybe a pebble, it becomes very uncomfortable. It would be like you having a rock in your shoe.
I love horses. I love to ride horses. It's my favorite thing, and they're my favorite animal.
It's not hard to get the youth to participate. The struggle and the challenge is to get the parents to see the need for their children to participate.
Horses out the way, throw the hay in, step back.
And whereas we have agriculture programs, our greater goal is to teach them real leadership skills, real life skills, and real character development. And for us, that means problem-solving skills, decision-making, critical thinking, and those necessary skills that they need to be prepared for to face real life.
I got more character out of it because it's a character camp. You can learn responsibility, leadership, how you treat people. I treat people better.
What I'm going to show you is basically our fish operation, because before the next week or so, you're going to be actually starting to feed the fish and making sure all of the water is running through the pipes correctly. We're raising tilapia, we're raising koi for recreation fish, and then we're now starting to raise something called the red ear shell cracker. This cage is so that we can separate the fish. It's called culling the fish out. The bigger fish that are ready to be sold, we put in these cages so when customers come, it's easier to dip them out, okay? And the other reason why we put them in these cages is because when the large fish are mixed with the small fish don't get to eat amply because the big fish are gobbling it up. You got a little sister? Just like you, right? So she got to get to the table before you do. And so what we do, we just separate them so that each fish is getting the right amount of feed. See that fish? Here we have a food-sized fish, and those others, they'll be able to fend for themselves. The main purpose of our thrust is to educate our youth. And so the aquaponic end of it, again, back to growing food, it's to take the nutrient-rich water that the fish are grown in and recycle that water into grow beds where we plant seed and have a growing media. And then from that nutrient-rich water becomes the water that is utilized to grow plant life. What nutrients is in the water, the plants drink up, which gives them nutrition to grow. That's the root system that grows up into the aquaponics. That's a different type of root than grows in the ground. It's a great ecosystem. We see it in every pond. All of the water plants that are grown around pond is simply aquaponics.
From the first day of camp, they love to go fishing. The kids, Miss Lisa, will you take me fishing? Why, sure. Well, where's the worms? Let us show you how we gather the worms. We're gonna find our own worms.
Right there, grab it. See that one, grab it.
We get dirty, get our hands dirty, get dirt up on the fingernails. They pull out slimy, squirmy worms, and they enjoy that. I like to do that with the children because a lot of them, spend a lot of time in front of the TV or playing video games. So when they come out, I like for them to get their hands dirty. And they gather worms to go fishing, and they really get excited about it. Boys are boys. Boys are tough. They would never tell you that they're afraid of a worm, but they are afraid of worms. And they begin to understand, okay, there's a lot more to catching a fish, just throwing my cane pole in the water. And I think maybe by the end of camp, everybody knows how to put a worm on the hook. Nobody's afraid to take the fish off the hook.
Yes, your first fish.
I want to plant something that after I harvest it, it's going to grow back. and then I can harvest it again and it's going to grow back, and all that was produced with one seed. And that's the model that I want in our community. So sustainability goes a lot further in my mind, and I'm teaching our people to think this way, what we can do to provide solutions to varied problems. Our goal is definitely long-term, and we know enough about human behavior and people that it's through relationship that you're going to make an impact.